Let's make part 4 of the sanitary sewer simple project series. In this video, we're going to coordinate the fixture type between the actual sheet and the schedule sheet. These numbers right here. So I'm going to go into sheet P001, which is the schedules and details sheet. And I'm going to copy these two fixture schedules here. Not the AutoCAD copy command, but the Windows copy clip command. So I'm going to copy clip this, and I'm going to go back to my plumbing drawing and paste it in place here. And the reason I brought both is because this one seems to have more. This one has 8 fixtures. This one has 7 fixtures. So there's extra stuff here. I guess it's the shower. We don't have a shower here, but I want to have as much information at hand so I can put this plumbing fixture schedule together. So here, since I already went ahead and did these fixtures, I already assigned these fixture numbers, and I'm going to coordinate the schedule to these numbers. So P1 is a toilet. It's a tank type toilet. There's toilets with tank, and there's those toilets with the flush valves you see at the malls and things. Generally, we work with tank type toilets, unless we're specifically told by the owner that we need something with a flush valve. In this case, we have a tank top toilet. It's fixture P1, toilet or water closet. So that's good. Fixture P2, it's a sink in a counter. And these are the same. It's a sink in a counter, sink and counter, sink and counter. Sometimes the sink is just hung to the wall. We don't have any on this project, but there are projects where the sinks are hung to the wall. So you would see something like this drinking fountain looking thing that would be just on the wall. We can pretend that this is a sink hanging on the wall, and you can see that there's no counter around. So that would be a wall mount, and the other one's called drop-in. So the fixture we have here is P2. It's a lavatory, which is correct, but the type is wall mount. So it's actually not the correct lavatory for us. So I'm going to erase this and try to find one on the list here, which is P3. So here it is. It's a lavatory. It's got its manufacturer, model number, description of the trim or the accessories, and then the remarks. It says it's a handicapped sink that drops in. Drop-in means there's a hole in the counter. You just drop it in there when you install it. So P2, it's a lavatory that's drop-in. So we got to make sure that we coordinate that with what the drawings are showing. So that's a counter. This line right here, it's a counter. And we're just putting something inside the hole in the countertop. Same thing here. And you see these a lot. It's very typical application. P3. So what is P3? P3 is, let's find one. P3. Here it is. P3 is a sink. It's sort of a little bar sink. That's in the kitchenette. So let's try to find that. I'm going to erase this lavatory info on P3. And the sink actually is just this little sink by Dayton. And I use the thing, the thing between projects is I pretty much use the same toilets, the same sinks, wall mounted or drop in, the same sinks that I will always use, unless I'm specifically told by the client that he wants something else. But I'm just going to use what I use. Let him change it and tell me if he doesn't like the ones I pick. So P3 is a sink. Here we go. P3 is a sink. P4 is a mop sink, a utility sink, or a service sink. It can be called any of those things. So instead of P5, it's P4 because it's a double line. I'm going to move this line down from here to here, which should be 20 inches, and I may explain that later. And I'm just going to move that note from there from the P5 to the P4, and the line looks right. The only thing I got to adjust here is move the P5 so it sits right between the two lines. P4, servicing, good to go. What is P5? Well, P5, if I remember correctly, is the urinal. So P5 is a urinal. Let's find there's a urinal. Well, in the previous project was P6, piece of cake. We'll move that right up. The urinal, I use the same one. It's always a flush valve. Doesn't have a tank. Back in the olden days, in the hundreds, like my daughter used to say, they had urinals with tanks. A big tank above that would flush the thing, just like you see the toilets in the olden days with a tank way up in the air. They used to have urinals that did the same thing. Right now, they're all flush valve, so we can use the same urinal. No problem. P6. Do I have anything else? P1, P2, P1, P2. Oh, let's see. The others right. P3, P4 is the servicing. P5 is the urinal. That's right. P6, here we go, is the water cooler. And it's always a double one. So water cooler is just a fancy name for a drinking fountain that plugs into the wall and actually cools the water. So the difference between a water cooler and a drinking fountain is that the water cooler actually chills the water. A drinking fountain is something like a bottle. Well, you see them outdoors. You still can get the water, but it's not cool. It's just something that dispenses water at pipe temperature. P6, do we have a P7? Well, let's check it out. I don't think so, right? And that's the end of the plumbing fixture schedule. So I erase that. I erase the bottom line. I stretch it or trim it or whatever you want to do. I did the stretch command, or you can just stretch or trim them all using this as the cutting edge and put a fence line right there. Or if you really like to take your time, do it one at a time. Whatever works for you. For me, I raise the line, I stretch them all from this end to that end, and it's done. It turns out I really didn't need the information that was on here, but it's always good to have just in case. I'm going to cut this, go back to the drawing P001, and paste it right there where it was before. So I'm going to paste it off a little bit, and I'm going to move both out of the way. And when I look at the sheet, the schedules, there it is. There's my plumbing fixture schedule. We'll work on water heater schedules later when we talk about the water distribution plan. And the other thing we need to talk about here is the plumbing material schedule. So fixtures is the things that you actually use and touch. Toilets, urinals, sinks, lavatories. I like to think of as things that you actually use and touch. Plumbing materials is things that you don't actually touch, like the floor drain or the floor sink or the floor clean out and things like that. So what do we have in this project? We have a floor drain, and that's listed. We have no floor cleanouts, even though it's listed. So actually we don't have floor cleanouts, but we do have a wall cleanout. Well, now we have an issue because this is a floor. This is the model and manufacturer for a floor cleanout. So we got to find a project that has a wall cleanout and copy that information. I'm going to do that. Let's see. Is there a way to pause this? Maybe not. But basically, I would open up another project that I know has, as I said, a wall cleanout, and copy that information, put it here. I'm going to give it a shot with one project that I think had one. see if it works. I think there was a daycare last year that I did for Sutton, and it's in the P001s. Let's see, let's cross our fingers here. There it is, well cleanup. So I'm going to take the well cleanout information, copy clip, close that out. I don't have to save it. And then I'm going to go over here. Well, I actually had copied it to here. So, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to take these three, move them from here to here, and they land right in the place where I need them. And there it is. So the plumbing's material schedule is done. I'm going to cut it out of here. I'm going to go back to the materials. To the schedule sheet. I'm going to paste it somewhere, and I'm going to put this one where the other one was, in exactly the same place. That way, when I look at the final product, it looks right. So I'm going to erase the old one, and when I go over here, look at the sheet. Now I have a plumbing fixture schedule that's correct. I have a plumbing material schedule that is correct. And eventually, when I do the water distribution plan, I'm going to have a water heater schedule that's correct. And then I'll play around with the details that I need. A floor drain, I have one. I don't have a floor cleanout, so I'll get rid of that detail. I have a wall cleanout, so I'll keep that detail. I have a two-way cleanout, keep that detail. I have a roof penetration detail, because all the buildings will have one. I want to have an instantaneous water heater, so I'll get rid of that detail. When I say, well, let me just show that while I'm here. When I say get rid of that detail, I don't mean erase the detail. I'm just going to move it aside. Because when I copy, if I decide to use this project as a copy to start another project, then I want to have it handy to be able to put it back. And that's kind of why these things end up on the side. This is things that I didn't use in that one particular project, but I like to keep for future use. Then I'm going to go over here and look, see what things look like inside the viewport, and I could probably squeeze all those 4 details in the bottom row like that, so that I can bring this one down here, and it looks a little neater that way. And that's it. That's sort of the final step on setting up the sewer, and I kind of threw in the details and schedule sheet. End of step 4.